So today I'm going to be using some yarn I got from Michael's, Loops and Threads, medium weight for acrylic yarn, of course. And these are the two colors that I chose. Now you don't have to use two colors. You can only use one if you want to, but I'm going to be switching off my colors. And I'm also going to be using my 5mm hook for this project. And I have a pair of scissors and also a darning needle as well. So to start out, you're going to make a chain long enough to fit around the base of your head. So I'm going to chain up 60 because that is enough chains for me to go around my head. Now for you, that could be more or less chains. And also depending on your tension as well. So just go ahead and make a chain as long as it needs to be to fit around your head. Measure it as you go. You don't want it to be too tight. You just want it to fit comfortably around your head. So I have completed all my chains. Like I said, I did a chain up of 60. So now once you have your chain, we are going to connect it with a slip stitch to create a like a circle. So when you're doing that, you want to make sure that your chain isn't all like twisted up. You want to make sure everything is facing the right direction, because if not, then it's going to mess up the base of your hat and then you'll have to start over. So once you have everything facing the same direction, you're going to insert your hook into that first chain with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into this chain right here, and I'm going to pull up a loop, and then I'm going to pull it through. So that is how you connect your chain to create a circle, ring, whatever you want to call it, to start working in the round. All right, to start working on round one, we are going to start with a chain up of 2. And then with that chain up of 2, we're going to go into each chain around with 1 double crochet. We're going to be working with double crochet stitches for this project. So in that first chain here, you're going to insert your double crochet. And then from here on out, you're just going to insert 1 double crochet in each chain until you reach the other end. So go ahead and insert that, and I will meet you back at the end of the chain. Once you've reached the end of your chain and you inserted your last double crochet, we are going to slip stitch to close the round. So we're going to insert our hook into the top of that chain 2 from the beginning and with the slip stitch. So you're going to count 1 and 2 and insert your hook and pull through. And that is how you're going to close the round. Now at this point, if you want to check your work, you can go through and count all your stitches. So that chain 2 is going to count as a double crochet stitch. So you're going to go through and count however many double crochets that you have, and it should match the number of chains that you did in the beginning. So now I'm going to be adding on my new color. So for that, I'm just going to loop it onto my hook and pull it through. I like to pull the color that I'm not using anymore, pull it tight so that it doesn't show. So once I have my new color, I'm going to chain up 2. And like I said, that chain up 2 does count as a double crochet. So now with my new color, I'm just going to go into each double crochet stitch, inserting 1 double crochet. And I'm not going to carry over my red. I'm just going to meet it back at the end when I switch back to that color. I personally just don't like to carry over the yarn. I feel like it's a waste of yarn, and sometimes I just feel like it shows through. So I'm just going to go through and insert 1 double crochet all the way around until I reach the beginning again. Alright, so I have inserted my last double crochet, and just like we did in the previous round, we are going to count up 2 chains. So in the top of that chain 2, we're going to insert our hook and insert a slip stitch to close the round. And then from here, I am going to switch back to my red. So I'm going to pull through the red and make sure I pull the purple tight just so that it's not showing anymore, like that. And then with the red, I'm going to chain 2 to begin round 3. And then from round 3, it's going to be the same thing as the previous round, just inserting 1 double crochet at the top of each stitch all the way around. And you are going to repeat this for as many rows as you need to for the base of your hat. So you're going to keep doing this to create the body of your hat. So you're going to make it as long as you want to. So I'm going to make mine only 10 rows because I feel like that was long enough for me. I feel like how tight your hat is on your head is going to determine how your ears are going to stand up. So you don't want it to be like super tight, but just snug and fitted on your head. So 10 rows was good enough for me. I wanted to stop right above my eyebrows. So I know there's hats where you can make it long enough to where the brim is going to be folded, but I'm not going for that look. So I'm just going for a solid hat. So I'm going to only do 10 rounds. Now you can do however many rounds as you want. So just keep going until you reach the desired height of your hat. Alright, so this is how the body of my hat looks after I completed my 10 rows. And once I finished my last row, I did leave a long tail because I'm going to use that to weave on my ears. So just go ahead and make sure you leave a long tail before you cut and fasten off. And now we're going to start working on the ears. So to start working on the ears, we are going to be working in the round. So we're going to start out with a magic circle. And then once you have that magic circle, we are going to chain up 2. So on that magic circle, I'm going to chain up 2 here. And now for the ears, the chain up 2 does not count as a double crochet. So in the ring, you're going to insert 5 double crochets. Like I said, that chain 2 does not count as 1. That's kind of just like a placeholder. So go ahead and insert 5 double crochets into your ring. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you are going to pull your short tail tight to close the ring that's in the middle. And then with that chain 2 from the beginning, that is where you're going to insert your hook with a slip stitch to close the round. So insert your hook right here on the top of that chain 2 and pull through. And now I'm going to be changing off colors again for the ear portions. So I'm going to grab my red and put it on my hook and pull it through, just like we were doing on the base of the hat. And make sure to pull that purple tight just so that it's not showing. So now with the red, I'm going to chain up 2. And for this round, it's going to be an increase round. So we are going to insert 2 double crochets in each stitch. So remember in the beginning, the first round, we started with 5 double crochets. So at the end of this round, we should have 10 double crochets because we're increasing. So go ahead and insert 2 double crochets in each stitch. And if it helps you, make sure to count as you go, just to make sure you're not inserting too many double crochets or too less. So at the end of round 2, I've inserted my last 2 double crochets, and then we are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2. As always, that is how we are going to end our rows or rounds to close it. So now I'm going to grab my purple again because I'm switching back to purple. Pull my red tight so that loop isn't there anymore. And then with my purple, I'm going to chain up 2. Now, this is going to be an increase round as well. Remember, chain 2 does not count as a double crochet. So I'm going to insert 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So I have my first one right here. 2 and 3. And then now I'm going to increase. So in the next stitch, I'm going to insert 2 double crochets. In the next stitch, I'm going to insert another set of 2 double crochets. So the pattern for this round is going to be 3 double crochets, and then in the next 2 double crochets, you're going to increase by putting 2 double crochets in each stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have increase and increase. So 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of the pattern. So we're going to insert 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then in the last 2 double crochets, we're going to increase again. So inserting 2 double crochets in each stitch. Alright, so this is what the end of the round looks like. So you're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 to close the round, and then we're going to switch back to red. Now for this next round, we're always going to start with a chain up of 2. I'm going to zoom in for you guys just so you can see some chain up 2. And then we are going to insert 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. So in the previous round, we inserted 1 double crochet in the first 3 stitches. So for each round, you are going to increase by 2. So like I said, previous round was 3 double crochets. Now this one is going to be 5 double crochets. So after you do your 5 double crochets, we're going to increase again, inserting the 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so once you have your 5 double crochets, in the next stitch I'm going to insert 2 double crochets, and then in the following stitch 2 again. So I'm going to insert 2 here, and then in the next stitch 2 more. So then you start to repeat the pattern again. So you're going to insert 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then in the last 2 stitches of your round, that is where you'll increase by inserting 2 double crochets in each stitch. And that's how you can tell that you're doing it right, because you're always going to end off with your last 2 stitches being the increase stitches. Once you've inserted your last double crochet, go ahead and slip stitch to the top of that chain 2 to close the round, and then switch back to your other color. So I'm switching back to purple. Now for the next round, you're going to start with your chain up of 2. And like I said in the previous round, we inserted 5 double crochets. So each round we're going to increase by 2. So we're going to insert 7 double crochets. And you're just going to keep doing that until you stop increasing. So the first one was 3, the next one was 5, now this one is 7. And then it's just going to repeat. So the next round is going to be 9 double crochets, and then the round after that is going to be 11 double crochets. So just go ahead and repeat this pattern. Okay, so once you finish increasing, the next round is just going to be a round of just 1 double crochet in each stitch. So there's no increase in this round. You're just going to do 1 whole round of just 1 double crochet. Now, I do want to point this out. If you were going for a longer, like bunny ear look, you would just repeat this previous round of inserting 1 double crochet in each stitch. You would just keep repeating that round until your ear is as long as you want it to be. So we've already done our increases in the beginning, and that's how you would start. You would do the same process. It's just once you get to this row right here, you would just keep repeating this until it reaches the length that you're going for. But for the sake of this tutorial, I am not doing a long bunny ear. I'm just going to be doing a short one. So I'm going to stop right here. So this will be my last round. So I'm just going to cut and fasten off and then work on my second ear. This is what my ear is looking like, and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and work on my second one, so you should have a total of 2 ears. And then once you have your 2 ears, we are going to learn how to attach it to the hat. Alright, so off camera, I did go ahead and add in some stitch markers for my ears. So I just counted however many stitches I had for the last round on just 1/2. So I counted 15 double crochet stitches. So I lined that up with 15 double crochet stitches on the hat, and then I just inserted some safety pins just so that I was making sure that I was weaving through the even amount of numbers. Not numbers, stitches. So once you have your ears lined up, remember we left that long tail from the base of the hat. So I'm just going to put on my darning needle, and then from here I'm just going to weave through each double crochet stitch, remembering to go through both sides. So right here I've inserted my needle and the base of the hat, and then I'm also going to insert it into the first 2 double crochet stitches of the ear. And as you can see right here, it's lined up, so I'm just going to make sure I'm putting my yarn through all 4 stitches. And I'm going to pull it through. And then from here, I'm just going to sew back and forth through each stitch. So I'm going to go into the next set of double crochets on the hat and as well as the ears.